my name is Rick from Monk's Motors here in Waterford, Michigan. I'm going to be working with a 944 today, and we're going to talk about adding a new light circuit, either to a brake light or a running light circuit right here in the reflector portion of the tail light. And as you can see, we have just just a brake light is just this big one right here. 86 and newer has the third high mount brake light, but what we're going to do, we're going to add a brake light right in this circuit here. What we're going to do now is we're going to remove the tail light lenses from the car itself, and also I'm going to discuss about removing the caulking that comes from the factory, which usually melts and starts to run off the rear tail panel of the car. But we're going to do that with some foam tape. I'll discuss that later, but right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the carpet so we can access the tail lights. This one, we're just going to roll this one out of the way. Usually there's a screw right in here, a little stopper that prevents this from coming out, and it keeps the flap from folding down in there, which has been already removed. Just moving that just out of the way. Got the drain for the latch. We're just going to move that out. Just pull it out and just put it out of the way. We're going to unscrew the light mechanism. Some of the 944s, they don't have an angle right here, so sometimes it's harder for the lens or for the light sockets to come on out. And I see someone has already replaced the light bulbs on this car. We're going to undo a couple connectors. And the lights that are actually supposed to be in this circuit here are 5008 and 5007s. 5007s are the dim lights. 5008 is the brighter light that they used for the brake light. They used it looks like 1156. You can do that. You just don't keep the brake on too long, because what will happen is it's so close to the plastic, it'll start melting the plastic. And then what we have here is an 8mm nut. We're going to remove this 8mm nut. Down here there's 6 of them. Which has been, I've already removed the other 5. We're going to take the tail light out now. The nuts are removed. You may have to use a heat gun. If you're going to pry with anything, be very careful. Use a plastic wedge if you're going to pry, because the caulking on here does stick to the body. And you can see the caulking right here, right along the light. We've already taken this out. We've already cleaned up along the edges here and everything. So what you can do is just take a screwdriver and you can just scrape this off. When you're done, you can use like mineral spirits to clean up any other residue. Wipe it all off, clean it with some soap and water, and when we're about to put this back on, I'll show you how to wrap the foam tape around it. You can buy it at any hardware store or home repair center. What we're going to do is, this is the light circuitry for the 944. This is the brake light. This here is the reverse light. This is the turn signal, and this one here is your tail light. We have an open circuit here. In Europe, they use this here either for the rear fog lights, or it was adapted as another tail light for the vehicle. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a new socket in here, which you still can purchase through Porsche, or if you can find a junkyard, you can go to the junkyard, remove these. There's a couple tabs right here. You just pull those apart, and this one right here, and that pops right off the housing. And then on the back side, you have the empty socket right here. But what we're going to do is, since we're going to use it as a brake light, we're going to be splicing into this wire, and then we're going to run a terminal that's going to connect to one of these terminal ends. And let me show you how easy these are to come apart. I'm just going to use this as a demonstration. I don't have one right at the moment right here, but there's just 3 tabs. All you have to do is push in on these tabs, and it pops right out. And I'll do the same thing. You'll just pop the new one right into that socket there. Now you have a light socket. All we have to do is just wire it in. We are now ready to put the socket into the light housing here. I went to one of our local junkyards and picked up a few sockets from our local junkyard that had one. So if you can find one, be great. So all it is just this little piece of plastic, with the terminal in. This is the ground right here. So what we'll do is we'll just snap this right into place. One there, just like that. Snaps that into place. The bulb that came out of the socket with the junkyard bulb, we'll just put that right there. But we're going to do that right at the end. Now we just have to wire it into this system here. I got one of the wires that came off of it from the junkyard, which will go right into there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just splice the wire. And you're going to need a few little tools here. I'm just going to splice the wire right about there. Most people don't have the fancy wire strippers, so that's why I'm using the basic. These two together, but I am using a butt connector here. Which will tie the two together. I have shrink wrap. There, you can buy that at any Radio Shack or even some hardware stores or home centers sells that. I'm just going to lengthen this just a little bit more so I can clean it and fold this over, because the socket that I have here, the butt connector, is just a little bit on the bigger side because I have it for the 2-wire. Just crimp it down good and tight. I'm just using my lighter to do this here. You can use a heat gun or a torch or something, but that's it right there. That just slides on, goes right back into its original location. Tuck that wire right up there. Now it looks factory. Now we have an extra socket. Got one there, and then I'll put the other bulb in there, and we'll connect it to the housing. Now we have the circuit board here, or the circuitry for the lighting. We got the new socket in there. Everything's all wired in, and all it does is snaps into place. Kind of set it down in here. We'll just it'll go in one way. And then there's a couple tabs. There's a plastic tab here and two plastic tabs there, and just snaps in place. And that's it. And then when you assemble this, this will be assembled in the car. And this will just sit like that. But we'll have to get the smaller bulb for this socket right there. Once we get that in there, then you're good to go. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put the foam tape around our tail light. I got this at our local hardware, and I found that this size right here, the 3/8 inch wide by 1/4 inch thick, is the best size for this here. You may need to get, well, this is perfect to do both sides here with a little bit of extra left over. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it all the way around the light, all the way down on the bottom here, and it fits nicely right in this groove, and you can work it. So I'm going to go ahead, cut this open. I got this at our local hardware store, and you can get this at any hardware store or home repair place. I like to just start down on the bottom. That way there the seam's on the bottom. And if you're getting exhaust fumes into your 944, this also is the culprit for that. A lot of 944s, since this caulking, after it heats up, it starts to melt. So it starts running out, and then it doesn't have a proper seal around the body of the car. So on this one here has sticky side on one side. That way there you can remove these tail light lenses at any time you want. And I'm using the gray stuff because they were out of the black stuff, and they didn't know when they were going to have it come in, which is foam rubber. But I'm using foam vinyl. Just trim this little piece off right there. Now this is ready to be installed on the vehicle. All you just have to do is, you got 6 nuts that hold it in place. You can clean everything up as you like. Even some of these here, they have a tendency to get water in these, and you may see these. What a lot of people do, they'll drill like a little 1/8 inch hole down in the bottom here, right here, over on this side, on each lens except for this one here, because that's one section right there. If you're starting to get water in there, infiltration, this is probably the main cause of that also, because it runs down, leaks down onto this side, and then just goes right into the socket. We're ready to put the taillight lens in. You would repeat this system for the other side if you're going to do both sides of the car. Since I already got the foam tape on, we're already clean around the taillight area. You just slide it in. And then the foam tape will make a nice seal all the way around the taillight. No exhaust fumes, no water leaks. And you'll take your 6 nuts and just screw them back in place. Tighten everything up. And you would finish up all 6 nuts. And then you'll take this. Sometimes there's a little lock on here that prevents that from falling out. This is the screw that puts it in, keeps that in place. You go ahead and put your light in place. Screw that in. And then you'll make all your connections. I'm going to go ahead and finish up securing this here, and then when I'm done with the other side, I'll show you the finished product. I just want to mention one thing to if you have dielectric grease, use that on the bulb socket so it helps protect from the moisture and everything. And the tail lights themselves, you can assemble them and then install them into the car. As you can see, the tail lights here, or the brake lights now we have the extra spot right here for the brake light. So we have this one here, so you have the added brake light, but you can also use that as a tail light. You can use it as a turn signal if you want. That's up to you there. But now the car it's sealed back here. We have the new weather stripping on here, and now you don't have to worry about the gas fume infiltration or water infiltration right around the tail light area. Thank you for watching our video.